Hi, my name's Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. This is my latest Elite shipment, which has just come in. I want to talk about it and talk about Elite Archery and just generally how Elite has gone in 2024 and 2023 for myself and my business. So before I do that, I'm just going to talk about my business. I sell all the brands of bows from all the manufacturers. So when I look at Elite, I want to have a bigger vision of how it's selling overall. Okay, so this shipment is a whole bunch of bows. It's Scott up here, it's Scott, and there's some arrows back there because Elite now do arrows. Okay, so the whole lot gets put together. That means the cost of freight is reduced for me, so that's a good thing. Elite bows sell well for me, the CBE stuff sells well for me, Scott sells well for me, and the arrows are new. Okay, so that's where I'm going to start. Now, originally, the background of this shipment was a lady came to me, and she came into my shop, and she tried out literally all the bows in my shop, and she's a long-time customer, so she tried them all out. I suppose I spent most of the day with her, and she finally decided that the Elite Verdict, this one, was the bow she wanted. And while I had it in two colours in 40 pounds, I had it in a tan and a brown. She didn't want that colour, she wanted purple, this colour, which I didn't have in 40 pounds, which is understandable. Now, so Elite made that bow, but then when they went to ship it, they only had two bows ready for me. And the freight for two bows was $1,500, and I was like, well, I can't do that. Okay, so then I rang up a few other freight companies to see how I could get these bows into Australia. And basically they said the way to do it is to bring in a big shipment, okay, and bring it in by sea. Okay, so then I ordered a whole bunch of bows. So I ordered stacked small bows, I ordered some Scott stuff, and the arrows, the ultra arrows, which I'm going to sort of show you. I've had those on orders for ages, and the first shipment they didn't come in, but the parts for them did come in. So that was a bit, I don't know what the story is with ultra arrows because it's new for me, but I've had them on order for ages and I've only had a few come in. Although I do know other stores have got them in, I don't know what their supply is like or what it's like overall. For me, I've had them on order, so it's a bit disappointing for me because I've ordered them and hence I don't know where they're at. And I'm not having to go at my sales rep at Elite because he's wonderful. He gets back to me same day, all the time. Very, very good. I just don't know what's happening with ultra arrows. And I'm going to say it's not a big concern for me because it's new and it's not one of my major things. But Elite bows, CBE and Scott are my major things. So first off, Elite bows. How have they gone in 2024, 2023? So I'm going to say before this, I did a video on Elite when they had the module bows. And I was like, these things are a nightmare for me. Okay? To adjust the draw length, it's a nightmare. To change the peep, it's a nightmare because you had the limb stops on, you have to take the limb stops off. To try the draw length, you have to drop the limb stop, you had to replace the module. And to set up the bow on an old Elite was a nightmare. Okay, it used to take me too long. And I said this in a video, and I was like, well, this is going to kill my Elite dealership. People are, I'll get dropped by Elite. I didn't get dropped by Elite. Elite then made a rotating module bow with an adjustable draw length, with an adjustable valley, with two forms of stops, and I'm like, and tunability. So they allowed you to tune the limbs. And I was like, this is awesome. That's everything I wanted in a bow at an affordable price. So instead of dropping me and going, well, you can't say that about us like some other companies, they fixed the issues. And Elite for me grew to be, in this financial year, or last financial year, it's now one of my two big companies, that and Bowtech. And you're going to say, but you're a PSE distributor. And yes, I am. But PSE slowed down for me, and we can go into a video about this, but this is about Elite. But now Elite is one of my major bow companies. And I'm like, well, you'll say, well, which Elite do you sell the most of, Stephen? And you probably know I shoot a Verdict, and I love the Verdict. Okay, I love all the adjustabilities, I love the tunabilities, I love the hunting bows because of all those features that you can change the draw length to part of an inch. You can change the size of the valley. You can change the feel of the bow. You can change the modules from performance to smooth. I love all that stuff. I love the tunability. Makes it very easy for me to sell because it's very easy for me to set up. So I love selling Elite stuff, okay? Now, the other thing which is great about Elite is the warranty, because I have none. Limbs don't break, nothing breaks. And people are going to say, well, yeah, when I dry fire my bow, I've got to replace my cams. Yes, you probably will. Sometimes you get away with it. And if you own an Ember and you dry fire your bow and you've got limb stops, you're probably going to bend those limb stops and buy some new limb stops, okay? So yes, in 2024, I've got one lady who dry fired her Ember, I'm going to say maybe 4 or 5 times, and we've straightened out the limb stops on the bow, but the bow's fine. I've got one person who's dry fired a Verdict, I think 5 times. But overall, it's pretty good, and I've sold a heap of the bows. So what is my biggest selling Elite bow? The base and the terrain. It's a budget bow, and that's probably going to come as a surprise to people because they always think top-end stuff. Actually, the basin and the terrain, which are a $1,000 Australian bow, they seem to be hitting a nice price point for people who like, well, I don't want to buy Chinese, I want to buy American, but I don't want to buy top-of-the-line bow. And I think the other thing with the terrain and basin is it's got poundage adjustment. With your top-of-the-line bows, you've only got 10 pounds worth of weight adjustment. The terrain and basin, you've got lots of poundage of adjustment and lots of draw length adjustment. So I think that's why they are big selling bows. But the top-end stuff is selling really, really well as well. Like the Verdict is one of my biggest selling target bows. Is it my biggest selling target bow? That and the Reckoning is about the same numbers. And how does that compare to Matthews titles? Because some guys on YouTube go, well, we sell heaps of Matthews titles. You sell lots of Matthews titles because you have them, no one else has them, is why you sell so many of them. If you had the Elite Verdicts in, if you had the Bowtech Reckonings, I would question, and everyone else had all the bows in stock, then I would question whether you'd be selling as many titles as you do right now. The thing is, it's hard to get a title, so if you have one, then you will probably sell it. But if everyone's got them, then the sales will be split around the marketplace. But all up, when I had Matthews titles in stock, I would sell in a ratio, it might be 4 to 1. So 4 Verdicts to 1 title, and probably similar with the Reckonings. So it was very substantially different in sales, and same with the Hoyt. And I'm going to put that down to the thing. I've got them in stock, but I had the titles and I had the Hoyts in stock. But I'm going to get, the reason is tunability and draw length adjustability. So, and you can change the valley. So you can have a small valley or a big valley. That sort of stuff people like. They like the grip. So I think they like the grip on the Bowtech, you can adjust it. And people like the grip on the Elite because they found it comfortable. That's why I think they brought it, but it's at least 5 to 1. Okay, and you're going to say, well, how's PSE go? Look, I still sell PSE, but the price is up. But the tunability and the functionality of the Bowtech and the Elite, I think, is what's driving the sales. Right, so all this shipment in, 2 bows, $1,500, the whole lot. To freight in with all the stuff, $750. How does that make sense? I don't know. I don't know how it works. I don't know if Elite stuffed up the quote with the first shipment. I know I couldn't get in any cheaper for one bow. So this one bow was sort of stuck there waiting for all these other bows to be built, and then when all the bows were built, the whole lot came in for $750, and I'm like, well, that's great. It seemed too cheap, but I'm very, very happy. Right, so let's just, what's in the shipment? So Elite, the Verdicts, we've got still a fair few in stock. So most of this shipment will be terrains and basins. So they're all basins. I'm going to say lots of terrains, so lots of basins and terrains. The Ember, which is the ladies' kids' bow, sells really, really well for us. Very well. It's easily the best-selling ladies' bow on the market. The So what's in the big box of CBE? Scott's got a sense, really popular for us. CBE Axis sights. Scott Sigmas, these have been selling quite well. Thumb release aid. So what I'm told from people is Scott is all made inside the USA, all the components are made inside USA, and I'm not having to go at other companies while I sound that, but people say the quality is really, really good on Scott, so they're less likely to fail. So of all the Scotts I've sold, Scott releases, as far as thumbs, I don't think I've had a failure. Right, so with the other releases on the market, when they're set to hair trigger, so very, very fine trigger, so basically you just have to breathe on them and set them off, it's 2 little edges. And once, because they have that set so fine, once that edge goes, the release aid will then fire. And if they put it so it's like that, so it requires that much movement to activate it, it's okay. But when they set it to be just on the tip of each other, that little edge basically gives way, and I don't care what brand it is. Things, the Scotts have been very, very good, no failures, and it gets to do with the hair trigger. So, but if you set all the releases on not a hair trigger, they're all fine. It's when you set them on the hair trigger, so fine you just blow on them to trigger, that's when you'll have an issue. So, but the Scotts have been excellent, no failures. Okay, so. And I'm not saying that because I like Scott over the other companies. The other companies are good. Scott a sense. Selects. Missing a release aid, so it fell out in the packaging. So the packaging broke. And I seem to have bundles of these Axis sights. Right, so on to the arrows. This is a box. Now, when a box comes in this small, I'm like, well, there's something wrong because I order a lot more stuff. These are the new arrows from Elite or Ultra. They're a 166. They look really nice. They look thin, but they're a straight 166, which is 4mm. So to put things into perspective, gold tip, Pierce, Big Tree VAP, Carbon 1 Eastern. That's the thickness of these arrows. They're only new out on the market. That's what the packaging looks like. Look, I think they will hang nicely. Price point, I don't know because they just came in, but I'm going to guess they're expensive. And when I say they're expensive, I'm not going to guess Eastern expensive. I'm going to guess between gold tip and VAP. Victory, because I think Victory is very affordable. I find gold tip's okay, but it's a little bit more premium. I'm going to guess these sit in that price point. I could be completely wrong. I'm just guessing because of the way the product is packaged. So we'll see once I package these. But I've had the accessories in, so these are their knocks. I haven't tried any of it yet, but these are the knocks because it's all new. More knocks. So they've got knocks in red, green, and clear. So, but I've got the pins. I had the points. They came in several months ago without the shafts, but I only seem to have 24 shafts in, which doesn't make any sense to me before. Before it didn't make any sense, and still doesn't make any sense. Obviously, I do these videos when the shipment first comes in and they're unscripted. These things, lenses and sunshades, really, really popular for CBE scopes. When I say scopes, CBE sights, because CBE sights people like because of the price point, fits nice, they like the adjustability and the functionality. And for some reason people want lenses because they want to make the target bigger, and they want sunshades to keep the sun off the lens and make more of a tunnel. So they're popular. Right, these things are limb stops. I'm guessing these are for a lady who's dry fired a bow. An access barrel, that's weird. I don't know what that's for. Obviously for an access. And some mods. Oh, now on the mods, I'm going to talk about the mods on Elite. because I'm here. Now, on the first elites, whichever elites, these were micro-adjustable valleys. So they had a little Allen key on the outside, and you loosen the screw and you could micro-adjust the valley. Then people complained because they said the cog mechanism inside made a noise, and other people put wax on it, and other people put glue on it. I didn't have a problem with mine, but this was an issue for people because they're like, oh, it makes a noise, and I don't want to make any noise. So what Elite did was they took the cog mechanism out of the micro adjustment. So now it's just one screw, and you just slide it backwards and forwards to where you want it. You don't have a cog mechanism inside to move it backwards and forwards. So when you send out these modules to people, they're like, oh no, I want the ones with the micro adjustment. They don't make them anymore. Okay, it's just what it is. So if you're going to get the new, this one's a performance smooth. The chances are you're probably not going to get the micro thing because that was when they had micro, and now listed non-micro. So I assume Elite had some micros in, and then they were like, well, we're going to get rid of this. To me, it wasn't an issue. I liked the micro adjustment, but there was, when I say enough people, there were enough people who complained about it to get rid of it. And when I'm going to say enough, so let's say I sold 50 Elites with the micro tuning thing, I probably got 2 complaints, maybe two tops, because one of the complaints wasn't from one of the bows I sold, but so it wasn't the majority, but there's enough of people complained that it becomes a thing that then Elite adjust, and they did adjust it. They got rid of it. So, but I didn't mind the micro adjustment to move it. It was nice, but then you don't want noise. Mine didn't make noise, so I understand why they got rid of it. Anyway, that's the Elite stuff. That's the Elite shipment, and I'm happy the cost was $750 because it keeps costs down. I can't stress enough to try and keep costs down. You've got to bring the stuff in cheap. Like if the cost per bow is $750 to freight a bow in, you can't bring it in cheap or you're going to lose money. But when I bring in, let's say, 25 bows at $750, I'm down to $50 a bow, less maybe. So that's very amazing. It's very, very, very amazing. And freight for me is a major cost of the overall product. So, and literally the cost of freight will determine whether I make a profit or I don't make a profit. So on this shipment, hopefully I'll make a profit because the freight was so good. Anyway, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Thanks for watching. Bye.